Hey there, Charlie Merrill with Merrill Performance, coming to you from my new outdoor office space here in Boulder, Colorado. You know, I've talked to a lot of runners over the past few months. Some of them are newer, some of them have gotten back into running after taking a break, and a lot of them are noticing that they're just fine when they go run, but then after their run, sometimes immediately after, sometimes hours or even days afterwards, they have pain. They have aches in their knee, their feet hurt, their back hurts, their hip hurt. It's one great example when we talk about the biopsychosocial model of pain, where we know that all pain is driven by the brain, and we know that most of the time when we have pain, there's actually no injury. It's one of my favorite examples of this, where athletes will go out and they'll work out and they'll feel just fine, but then later in the day or the next day or even a few days later, they'll have pain, and they'll often blame it on that workout. And what we know about pain behavior, symptom behavior, is this is rarely the case. The running or the exercise didn't trigger an injury, but it did sensitize your brain enough to say, hey, let's get this person's attention to let them know maybe that was a little bit too much. This happens all the time, and there's an on-ramp with running that most runners need to go through. That means there's like a 6 to 8 week break-in period where your body and really your brain are getting used to this new training stimulus. And so oftentimes our brain will completely overreact at first, trying to keep us safe, and it sends us these little pain messages that are really mostly just transient. They just come and go. In fact, our brain is so smart, it turns on pain before we're able to hurt ourselves. And when we're new runners, we don't even get to the point where we can run far enough or fast enough most of the time. And for a lot of people, they just completely shut down the whole idea of running before they even get to the point where they're enjoying it after the 6 week mark, let's say. Anyway, the larger point is about symptom behavior. And there are a lot of things that as clinicians and even as people that are in pain, there are a lot of things we can look at to prove to ourselves that pain is not a structural problem. It's not even a primary body problem. And this delayed onset of pain after exercise but not during is one of my favorites. And there are lots of other types of symptom behavior that help us understand that the body's okay, that we're not actually injured. Another one that I love is when symptoms switch sides. So they start on your right side and then they jump to the left side. And sometimes they even go back and forth. Doesn't make sense if you have a structural problem, if you have a problem with your body. Another one is that a whole arm will be affected or a whole leg will be affected. And if you have a problem with your back or your neck, a disc injury or arthritis, that's not the way symptoms behave. They tend to affect a certain part of the arm, a certain part of the leg, and they tend to behave a certain way. So when we see a whole limb or a whole side that's affected, as much as that's scary to a lot of people that I see in the clinic, that is almost never a sign that your body is injured. It's almost always a sign that we need to look at either the fear of the pain itself or at some other psychosocial variables that might be going on in your life that are paralleling this experience. And we don't need to necessarily blame running. We don't need to shut running down. We don't need to stop it. So I want to encourage you to reach out if you have questions about this stuff. I realize some of you may be hearing this for the first time, may be confusing. Maybe you're like, oh, that's me, but everyone's told me that my body's a mess and that I have arthritis. Hey, reach out. I want you to understand that sometimes just a little bit of fear reduction can go a long way. I'm always available to you to consult, either through the comments or jump on a phone call. Happy to do that. Click the like button for me. Take a second to share with someone that needs to hear this, and follow me. Not only here on YouTube, but take a second to find me at Charlie Merrill on Instagram. I appreciate you tuning in and joining me on the swing on this lovely evening. I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Peace.